So the benefit of it is even if the UI changes, as long as computer use can see the screen, it will be able to operate. And because it has visual capabilities and also the ability to reason over the content, computer use can do things that were not possible with RPA before.
My dear community, welcome back to yet another episode of Demystifying Copilot Studio, where you and the community have questions and we at Microsoft have answers. I am so excited for this episode because we have two very special guests. Today, we have Laze Janev, MVP and Solution Architect. Laze, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing, Charles. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. And on the Microsoft side, we have none other than the master of CUA himself, Joe Fernandez, product manager, Copilot Studio, and the brains behind CUA. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Charles.
Joe, I hope you're ready. There's some very tough questions.
Ready.
So, very, very common question in the community recently, since you have released CUA, is how does CUA compare to the desktop flows, and when we should use one and when we should use the other?
That's a good question. So both serve the purpose of UI automation. So the ability to emulate what a human does in a computer with a mouse and keyboard. The way desktop flow works, desktop flow is RPA. So you build a script, a desktop flow with a series of actions. And those actions are going to mostly interact with UI elements. So the UI tree of an application or a website to be able to perform those actions. So you can reliably build that automation, but if the UI changes, let's say that you have an invoice, a pricing website, and there's a specific style one day, and 2 months later they do an update, you will need to update that script so the desktop flow will know how to operate the new interface. CUA, on the other hand, the authoring part is just natural language. So you just describe in English or your own language what you want to happen in the computer. And computer use, instead of using the UI tree, it uses vision. So basically, it uses the computer as a human does. So it looks at the screen, and using a virtual mouse and virtual keyboard, it can take those natural language instructions and translate them into action. So the benefit of it is even if the UI changes, as long as computer use can see the screen, it will be able to operate. And because it has visual capabilities and also the ability to reason over the content, computer use can do things that were not possible with RPA before. So for example, the ability to read a dashboard, look at an image, take decisions depending on what's on the screen. So very powerful new technology that we now have for UI automation with CUA, with computer use.
That makes sense. My second question will be, when we're now talking about the CUA, can the CUA agent be used also together with my other Power Platform elements, which are usually outside my Copilot Studio?
So today, CUA is available as a tool in agents in Copilot Studio. But the good thing of the Power Platform and the different elements that you can build in the Power Platform is that they're all interconnected. So you can build an agent in Copilot Studio with a CUA tool, and then you can trigger that agent from a flow, from a Power App. You can even trigger the agent with an API call. So even though you might not see like the CUA tool directly integrating Flow or in Power Apps today, you can always build that agent in Copilot Studio and call that agent from other applications like Power Apps or Power Automate Flow.
Thank you, Joe, for that. And now I'm ready for the last question for us today. What do you think about how has generative AI has helped to enhance the computer use tools like it's CUA?
Absolutely. So actually, generative AI is what makes CUA possible because on one side, for authoring, generative AI can take those instructions in natural language and translate them into actual actions in the computer, so actual mouse clicks and keystrokes, without having you to write any complex script or anything. Generative AI does the heavy lifting, so that's one side. And then the other side is the ability to see. So generative AI gives us a powerful visual model that is able to look at a computer and understand what's on the computer, be able to look into like dashboards, websites, documents in a way that before was not possible with traditional UI automation. And now, thanks to generative AI, we've made both the authoring simpler, as well as the ability to unblock new scenarios with content understanding and visual capability.
Thank you very much for that. I also, when I try to talk with clients and try to explain it a little bit, it's more about that this is more like a multi-step reasoning tool, right? It's more about this conversational feedback.
Absolutely. And you actually bring a good point. Many times I get the question as well as, hey, like, what are some best practices to prompt QA? And the way I like to explain is like, hey, you should talk to QA the same way as you would explain a colleague how to perform the task. If you're way too ambiguous, like your colleague would say, hey, like, you told me I'm not to submit an expense, but which tool should I use? Who should approve it? Like, it's going to ask you those questions. QA is going to be similar. Like, QA has a very smart AI model, but it needs the context. So it doesn't know your specific business processes. So if you say a very generic task, it will ask you a question back and forth and say, hey, like, please give me more details so I can then build a plan and execute that plan. So absolutely, that's a very good analogy. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joel. That was and thank you for answering all of those questions. I think this will really help the community.
Thank you so much, guys, for the amazing explanation of it. And it's so much better than the way I used to explain it, where I said it's like having intelligent hands and keyboard coming out and typing for you, because it would creep people out. But this makes a whole lot more sense and is less creepy. So thank you again for everything. And if you'd like to learn more about QA and anything else Copilot Studio, head on over to the Power Platform community at community.powerplatform.com. There, you can connect with super users, MVPs, and Microsoft engineers at the Copilot Studio forum to resolve issues, answer questions, and learn best practices. We're rolling out some really exciting AI-powered features that will get you answers faster than anywhere else. We're also now in the midst of launching the agent community page at agentcreator.microsoft.com, where some of our most prolific agent creators are showcasing their work, and you're welcome to connect with them. And finally, to keep up with the latest announcements, guides, tips, head on over to LinkedIn and YouTube and be sure to join our communities there. And don't forget to come back next week for more tips as we answer additional questions at the next episode of Demystifying Copilot Studio. See you there.